Hello and welcome to my guide to the Vale Guardian, which is the first raid boss of the Spirit Vale wing in Forsaken Thicket. Let's start with the raid composition. For Vale Guardian you should bring one toughness tank, at least one healer, one or two PS warriors, a chronomancer who is usually the tank, and at least 2 to 3 condis. The other spots in your group can be filled with DPS. This encounter is a 3-phase fight with 2 intermission phases in an area that is divided in 3 zones, each with their own color pillar, red, green and blue. The boss will always follow the player with the highest toughness in the group, so make sure that no one has more toughness than your tank. The auto attack of the boss hits for high damage and also cleaves, thus the tank should make sure that the boss always faces away from the group. Unless you're the tank, try to stand behind the boss at all times. From my experience, there's a mechanic which even some veteran players don't know of. This mechanic is called Magic Aura, which deals a bit of damage to everyone in the raid every 3 seconds. Usually this isn't a problem, but can screw you over if you have low HP or get hit by other attacks. The first real mechanic of the boss is Unstable Magic Spike. Every 10 seconds the boss will summon electric-like blue AoE fields to 5 players closest to itself, which will then explode after 2 seconds, dealing moderate damage and teleporting you to a random location if you are caught in them, resulting in a DPS loss. Just dodge or sidestep out of the field and you won't be teleported. The next and most important mechanic is Distributed Magic. Around every 15 seconds the boss will summon a green field somewhere in the same third of the area where it stands. 6 seconds after the field spawn it will explode, dealing 80% of the maximum health as damage to the entire raid. If you are not topped off, you are likely to get downed, thus in most cases causing a wipe. To prevent this explosion, at least 4 players need to go into the field and soak up a relatively small amount of damage when this mechanic ends. Normally these 4 players are the healer and those who deal condition damage, with one ranged DPS as a backup. If you can't make it to the green fields, try to use distortion and rebounds as an emergency rescue. Also watch out for the Seeker Ops, which will spawn roughly every 20 seconds in the arena and follow a random player. They have an AoE ring around them, dealing quite a lot of damage to everyone close to them. Don't try to kill them since they will despawn after a short time, making concentrated damage on them pretty worthless. You can use soft and hard CCs on them to reduce their speed or reposition them. Now let's talk about the boss phases. The first phase is really simple. The tank should stay close to a pillar, usually the blue one, and make sure that the boss moves as little as possible so the group can apply as much damage as possible. As a tank you really should avoid the blue teleportation fields, otherwise you will get teleported and the boss will try to follow you, resulting in a DPS loss for the entire group. With a stationary boss, the players assigned for the green circle should have no problem dealing with assigned duty. Just watch out for green circles. At 66% the boss will become immune to damage and moves to the middle of the arena to disappear, spawning a red, green and blue guardian at their pillars. The Vale Guardian won't return to the arena until all 3 guardians are defeated. During this phase, the group will become attuned to the pillar color of the third of the arena they are standing on. The attunement is shown as a colored symbol above each player's head. This attunement will reduce the damage you get from the same colored guardian's aura, which has now a large radius but doesn't cover the entire boss arena anymore. But these auras can overlap, resulting in much more damage if you're standing in these overlaps too long, so don't stay in these overlaps. About the 3 guardians, starting with the blue one, you should assign at least 4 players to him since this guardian will spawn the green field. He also has a buff called Blue Pylon Power, making him immune to all damage and conditions, but this buff can be removed by boon stripping abilities like the short auto attack 3 from the Chronomancer. The green guardian only uses the blue teleportation AoE fields to teleport and damage players and isn't that much of a problem. The red guardian spawns Seekers next to himself and takes next to no damage from normal attacks, making power DPS worthless on him. The only way to kill him quickly is to deal condition damage. During this phase another mechanic called Bullet Storm is active. Small orbs will travel around the arena, dealing damage to players they hit. Avoid them, but keep in mind that if one of these orbs hit the blue guardian it will regain its buff, making the guardian invulnerable until the buff is stripped again. But this should be no problem since the buff can be removed quickly by the Chronomancer's auto attack. The usual tactic to deal with this phase is to assign 3 condition dealers to red, 1 player to green and the rest to the blue guardian, taking him down while the player at green carries the green guardian over to blue. Thus the group can quickly take out green and blue at almost the same time. Once all 3 are defeated, the Vale guardian will reappear, starting the second phase. Now 2 new mechanics will be added. The first one is Unstable Pylon. This will light up one of the thirds of the arena, rotating clockwise every 20 seconds and dealing unblockable damage every second to everyone standing inside. The tank can either move around the arena following the shiny section or camp the boss at the border between 2 sections. Just make sure that the boss itself is clearly standing in one section and not between 2 sections. Otherwise the green field can and will spawn at a location where you don't want to have it. The second new mechanic is Magic Storm, which will happen every 30 seconds. The boss will root itself and clusterfuck the entire arena with hard-hitting AoEs. This mechanic will also enable his break bar, and you should break it quite fast to interrupt this mechanic and make him mobile again. Otherwise players will go down and the guardian won't move. At 33% the boss will disappear again, spawning the same 3 colorful guardians as in the last phase. After you've dealt with the 3 guardians, the third phase will begin. This third phase doesn't introduce new mechanics, but it changes some of the pre-existing ones a bit. First, an additional seeker will now spawn in the middle of the arena. Just use CCs to knock it away if it gets too close. Second, Unstable Magic Spike will now spawn up to 10 teleportation fields instead of 5, and it is likely that they are placed at the location of each player. This can be a bit problematic since this mechanic can overlap with the green fields, causing players to be teleported out of them. Thus, since not enough players have been present in the green field, it will explode, dealing devastating damage to the group. Be careful about that and make sure to evade the teleport AoEs. The most obvious change though is that Unstable Pylon now covers 2 zones instead of 1. But since the affected zones still rotate, it becomes necessary for you to move the boss around. Make sure that you move the boss early enough to the next zone for the green fields, especially if Magic Storm is coming soon. It may be necessary for you to step into the lit up sections so the boss gets routed there through Magic Storm, giving your team enough time to use CCs. Call for heals and use defensive abilities to reduce damage if you have to move him that early. That was everything I know about the fight against Vale Guardian. Leave a like or comment below if you'd like to see more guides on raid bosses. I hope this has been of some help to you. Thank you for watching and until next time.